Happy Sunday, cousins, and happy Cancer New Moon week. We will have the Cancer New Moon July 5th. I think that's Friday of this week. My birthday is next Sunday. So I'm 1 week away from my big day. So I'm excited about that. Um, this is a this is my favorite time of the year when Cancer and Capricorn line up because it's always a magical time of the year. It's always a beautiful time of year. It's also a reaffirming portion of the year of what needs to occur in your home, in your mental, in your habits, in your relationships, in the way that you nurture yourself, the way that you nurture others. Um, so I'm very much so looking forward to the occurrences of this Cancer new moon. It's smack dab in the middle of two Capricorn full moons. So we had the first Capricorn full moon June 21st. Then we'll have the second Capricorn full moon July 21st. And if you're on Patreon, and I know YouTube family, I might be like, we didn't even get a Capricorn full moon recording. You got me on Patreon for that. Got to be on Patreon for that. I've been moved this summer to limit my access to only let certain portions of my um, products and services be accessible to the public. So um, if you want to know for certain that every month you're going to get the new moon, full moon message, a rundown that can help you move through it, then you'll want to subscribe to Patreon. But on the Capricorn full moon recording, I talked about how this lesson that we're learning now, or that we're receiving reward for now throughout the summer, has actually been something that's been going on since January, when we had a Capricorn new moon at the beginning of the year. And then we're going to end the year in a Capricorn new moon. And then we have two full moons, Capricorn, smack dab in the middle of a year 8, which is Saturn ruled, which rules Capricorn. And it modern day, ancient day rules Aquarius. And Aquarius has made a huge migration into Pluto, which will be affecting us for the next 20 years. So this year is a very diplomatic point of our journey, um, and making sure that we are taking the necessary lessons and applying them so that we can mature and move forward. The Cancer new moon on the 5th is going to be occurring at 14 degrees of Cancer. 14 is the Taurus degree. It's also the degree of media, um, social media, news, paper. So be interesting to see what kind of stories that we receive 3 days before or 3 days after the Cancer new moon. We've actually been in a lunar reversal since March of 2023, which means that the full moon was coming before the new moon. That also can be why your life has felt like it was in shambles and turned upside down for the last year. No matter what you did, no matter what you were doing, it seemed like you were like a step behind, or you just couldn't get it. It just wasn't quite curling, no matter what you were doing. And that has a lot to do with the reversal of the lunar cycle that we were in. But beginning with the Cancer new moon, we're going to kick it back in to the correct lunar cycle. It will be, if it's already reversed, it will be unreversed. I guess that's a word. And we're gonna go back into the new moon, full moon, new moon, full moon, new moon, full moon for the next 14 months until it switches again. So there's 14 again. And then with Taurus being in that 14 degree, that's Venus. So if it really means anything to you, this is when you have to show up for it. This is also proving to you who you mean something to. Who do you mean something to? Because there are people in your life that literally just keep you at bay, or they keep you at arm's distance. They keep you one text away. Um, One, so they can say they know you. Two, so they can reap some of the benefits and blessings that your life is going to receive. Um, and three, because it could honestly be a monitoring spirit or someone who is here just to keep notes on what you have going on, like the bad guy in a movie. They always have um, a henchman who heard what was going on, or they always have a what's it called, informant that's playing both sides. So um, with us having a Cancer season, the Cancer new moon, and all this Capricorn energy as well, it's a very exposing season. Cancer exposes people without even trying. You can, your grandmother can maintain the lie for 40 or 50 years about who her child's father was. And with your birth, you never asked the question. Your birth, your presence, your awareness, your existence then brings that truth out. Now, with that being said, cancer can trigger the truth. Cancer can trigger people into telling the truth. Cancer can trigger the truth into coming out. People who are trying to pull the wool over your eyes are not going to like the fact that the truth is coming out. They're not going to like that. So, with that being said, you may realize as you look back over your life that there have been some times when you've had discontented relationships with people who may be older than you. And you're like, I'm young. I'm only 20 years old. Like, why do you have beef with me and you're 50? And they're like, I remember back in 1994 when you was born, my mama told me the truth about my birth or whatever. And it has nothing to do with you, but it does because you're a gateway of truth. So I'm saying that because during Cancer season, not only are you with the 14 degrees of Taurus in the moon position, um, not only are you going to be taking tally on who's important to you and what do you need to do to maintain and nurture and keep, but it's going to be very evident to you who actually rides for you, who's actually riding for you, who's actually um, there for you as much as you are for them, energetically, physically, spiritually, mentally, so on and so forth. When I was connecting these notes, I heard coming back from war. Coming back from war. Because of the moon reversal cycle, the lunar reversal cycle for the last 14 months has had all of us likely on top of our head. Now we are coming back from war, and it's like, I can breathe, I can drink, I survived. Oh my God. Let me tell you how it happened. Let me tell you what happened when I was out there. Let me tell you what I saw. Let me tell you what I survived, right? Coming back from war. In ancient times, when a warrior would return from war, they would go and sit with the shaman. Because let's not ever forget that it's not normal for humans to people to hurt women and children up close and personal in the name of war and business. It's not normal. So you're programmed to go do that in order to be able to do that. But when you come back and you have to actually live in civilian life and you have to actually go back to your tribe and try to fit in, you may need a little bit of nurturing to do so. So a lot of soldiers, warriors, knights would go home and would sit with the shaman. Now keep in mind, most times the shaman sits an hour away from camp in the middle of nowhere. The shaman is not to be bothered with all this other stuff, with traffic and trucks and the market. No, the shaman will be off in their hermetic mode, returning, retrieving, and retaining what energy they need to for the community, for the village. So when the warrior knight soldier comes home from war, they stop at the shaman first, and the shaman's away from home, and they sit there with the shaman. It could be days, it could be weeks, months, and it could even be years that they sit with the shaman until they feel like they're themselves again. More times often than not, the shaman doesn't speak. The shaman may say, hello, my child, welcome in, there's your spot, or whatever. But seldom does the shaman sit there and work with them, walk with them through their journey and, oh, tell me what's going on. And yesterday you said that you didn't like. They're not a counselor. They are a healer. But the magic of a shaman is being able to heal you without saying anything. With just their presence being enough for you to see the mirror image of yourself, to receive the guidance from yourself. I don't know my full community here on YouTube, but if you've ever taken a journey or a trip that required a shaman to assist you, that shaman didn't take that medicine with you. That shaman didn't drink that herbal tonic with you. That shaman let you drink it. They prepared it for you so that you had the right components and the right measurements. But then they gave it to you and you ingested it and you took it because who needed the healing? You. Who needed the clarity? You. Who needed to go on the journey? You. They are just there to facilitate the space. They're just there for you to be like, if I can't breathe, they can let you know that you're still getting oxygen, everything's okay. You thirsty, they're the ones to give you some water, maybe wipe your brow. But even from the beginning to the end of that journey, it is a very individual thing that the shaman's facilitating space. So this Cancer new moon, summer is the gateway of the second half of the year anyway. So we're coming back from war in the summer, and we are trying to prepare to settle in for the fall and the winter and to leave the trauma and maybe even downright terrifying things that we've seen while we were out in war behind so that we can move forward. Okay. So sitting with the shaman is this Cancer new moon energy. Sitting with the shaman may look like purging. You may be crying. You may be cleaning. You may be laughing. Cancer rules nostalgia. So you might find that you're reflecting or watching old movies from when you were a kid, old documentaries, old cartoons. I recommend going to a vintage toy store. You get your whole life together. Go to the 80s section. Well, I don't know how old y'all is, but from 80s babies. Go to the 80s section, the 90s section, maybe even some of the early 2000s. But take as long as you need. I mean, if you need to sit with the shaman from July 5th until July 21st, just the day before we switch into Leo season, then do that. And if that means that you need to take time away, you need to sit down, you got to take some time off, you can't be bothered at your job. If all of those things are true, then do not feel bad about having to do that. Because then over the next 14 months, we're going to be in the normal lunar cycle that can charge us up, and then it's going to reverse again. So we want to be mentally, spiritually, energetically charged and stable so that we can withstand what's going to happen on the next reversal. New moons always rule new cycles, new intentions, new beginnings, new opportunities. So set your intentions, sow your seeds. If you're on Patreon, we got rituals that go back 4 years that you can work with the new moon, specifically probably even the Cancer new moon, because I was doing that at the very beginning of Patreon. Every new moon I was specifying the new moon with the crystals and the position and how you could work with it. So if you're on Patreon, there are lots of rituals over there for you to work with. A good one that I'll just share with the public, let's see. Find you a random tree. And I say random. Maybe you should build a relationship with the tree. Either way, you don't want the tree to be a tree that you see every day. So whether that's a week prior to you actually going and leaving your intentions with the tree is when you go and say, hey, my name is such and such. I'm going to use you. Thank you. Or you go and you spend some time around the trees to figure out which one is working with you, because this is another topic, but working with trees is very monumental and very profound, and it's very beneficial. Letting the tree choose you is just as important as letting the pendulum choose you. It's just as important as letting your crystal choose you. Is just as important as you letting your soul connect with who your guide is going to be or who your mentor is going to be. The tree is just as important because you can develop a relationship with a tree and that tree can work with you for years. And then you and that tree can have a disconnect and you still going over there giving the offerings. You can be pouring water and giving intentions and you're not receiving anything because you and the tree don't have a relationship anymore. So first go and determine what tree wants a relationship with you. Then give gratitude, leave water. You can even leave flowers. I always think it's a little strange to leave flowers with a tree because that means that you picked these flowers from somewhere and you killed them to give them to a tree that was living, when the tree probably would much rather you leave all of its living friends living. So water is always great. And then once you have established the relationship, go home or in the sun or however you want to do it and write your intentions on a piece of parchment paper or a brown paper sack and write your intentions. And you want to write them as if they have already happened. I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for. I am in, walking in the energy as it already has happened. Fold it up as tightly as you can. Then take a stick and kind of dig a hole at the root of the tree, just a small one. Stick your little parchment paper in there. And the reason why we say parchment paper and um, brown paper sack is because they are paper. They are of the earth. If we have a flood, it will break that down. If we have water, it will break those things down, as opposed to plastic or bottles or any of that. Those things will stay on the earth and they can ruin the earth. So then you cover it back up with dirt. You pour some water over it. Give gratitude. Hug the tree. Speak to the tree. Do whatever you're gonna do. Stay as long as you want. But then when you walk away from the tree, don't look back. And asking it is given. Knocking it is answered. It is done. It is done. It is done. It's something that you can close it out with. So new beginnings will be unfolding in our environments. Set your intentions. Again, we are on the second half of the year. If Saturn, and Saturn retrograde. Patreon got a whole Saturn retrograde reading. I forgot about that. Saturn retrograde occurred 3 days ago. It's going to go into November. It's playing no games. It's playing no games. Make sure you go and check it out. Because you need that. You need that tea right there. Because Saturn is daddy. And I already ran down the chart on y'all on how Saturn been very present. He been having his brothers around. We be thinking we getting away with it. Our uncles is watching us. Got eyes everywhere. So you better commit to whatever is necessary. Saturn retrograde was also happening. So anyway, new beginnings, setting intentions, being willing and ready to do what is necessary to go to the next plateau will also be an image. The beautiful thing about this Cancer new moon is there are no hard aspects. There's no hard oppositions. There's no contraindications for this new moon. Go hard or go home. And Cancer is going to go hard and then still go home. What? Did everything I could today. Going home and lay down. Don't bother me. Something that I heard while I was doing these notes. This Cancer new moon is going to be, because Cancer is the mother, right? But something about this energy is very inner child inspiring. I hope y'all can not hear my stomach growling. Oh my God. It's very inner child inspiring. So, and maybe it's the nostalgia. You're thinking back to who you were as a kid, what happened in your life as a child, so on and so forth. But I heard if they can't make your inner child feel safe, then they're not for you. That's your telltale sign that they're not for you. For me, that's been a huge wake-up call this whole year. Because I walk with my inner child, I carry her on my shoulder. Because we survived. So I take her everywhere with me. Girl, look. You know how they say on TikTok, I'm showing my niece everything that she never seen before, and to be a little 6-month-old baby. And they show them inside of a freezer, and they show them the under part of the carriage. Hey, that's me and my inner child. Girl, come over here. Look what life look like when we not in misery. So it's very inner child inspiring. If they trigger your inner child, get them the fuck out of here. If they can make your inner child feel safe, then they very likely are a person for you. We'll be turning our eye to everything home, because Cancer rules home, nurturing, breasts, mother, nostalgia. The fourth house in astrology, the fourth house is ruled by Cancer. The fourth house is your roots, your ancestors, your home, your femininity, where you come from, what makes you feel safe. So there may also be an eye turning to your family, like the direct family that you have now, the family that you have cultivated over the years. A lot of times Cancer doesn't come from a big family, or Cancer may not be connected, very close to their real blood family, but they have gone into the world and created a whole soul family. And under this energy, you may be very appreciative and just very reflective on, I didn't start with everybody who, I'm not going to end with everyone who I started with, but I'm grateful for who is still here. No guilt, no shame, no shade, just pure awareness and grateful energy. Cancer has a crab claw. I don't know if you've ever seen a real crab. Okay. Now, almost all the constellations look how they look. That's why they named them that, right? So They even call the disease this our zodiac sign because of the shape of the disease. It looks like a crab, right? But anyway, I love crabs in real life. And um, crabs walk sideways, which is very Cancerian. Cancers do not necessarily want to have no confrontation. We may have a problem, we may have beef, but we don't want any confrontation. But if you bring that shit to our doorstep, this is when that second claw comes out. Crabs typically have one small claw and then they have one really big claw. The one small claw is how they get to their food and they, may decorate some stuff in their house. That large claw, it stays up and it stays at attention because if you run up, bitch, I can take your whole finger off. Run up, bitch. It's the end of your life. So I'm saying that because Saturn energy, all this Saturn energy and Cancer being reflective and Cancer's giving you the reflection, you very well may make the decision to disconnect from the unhealthy and the triggering. If Saturn retrograde didn't already do it for you, the things that occurred within 24 hours of Saturn retrograde for me, I was like, Saturn, do your thing. Do your dance. Do your dance. Because Saturn's never going to play no games. So all of this Saturn energy, Saturn love Cancer. Saturn love his baby. They the real mother and father of the zodiac. He love his girl. And what he don't like is for people to try his girl because she seems a little soft. Because she seems a little too loyal and a little too forgiving. Capricorn don't like that. Capricorn let you get away with a little bit playing in his Cancerian's face. But then he's going to lay them hammers. Okay? Okay? So, and you may be seeing that too. You may be deciding that you do not want to be bothered. You're not going to tolerate. You've tolerated it long enough, and now you're done with your Cancer clause. My final note is Cancer can be lazy. I can admit that. Cancer can be lazy. Cancer's a water baby. What? Cancer wants to lay in the water under the sun, float to the shore and get some food, float back out to the water, leave me alone. But Cancer will still get to the bag. Cancer will still get to the routine. Cancer will still do what they need to do. They will. They don't want to, but they will. Where Cancer can be a little lackadaisical and lazy, Capricorn is going to ignite action. Capricorn is going to be like, nah. You've been dreaming about long enough. Let me put a key in your back. Let's go. Let's get it popping. So wherever you kind of been maybe dragging your feet, doubting yourself, having a lack of confidence for yourself, you may get activated or turned up under this energy. Y'all, I've been recording this whole thing and never had no music. I knew something was wrong. I was like, I knew it felt real silent in this bitch. Okay, we're going to pull just a couple of cards. And then I'm going to let y'all go. So set your intentions, stay hydrated, give gratitude. Connect with your ancestors. It's a wonderful time to be alive. Spirit, what are the energies for the collective, for the Cancer new moon occurring July 5th? I think it's occurring at like 3:45 p.m. CST time, so just times for your time zone. Hunger. And in between these two full moons, you can feel like your hunger is not being quenched. This whole year, you can feel like I've been really going in. I've really been trying. But remember, I told you, Saturn don't care how hard you've been trying. Saturn wants you to keep going, right? And instead of feasting on some bullshit, it's important that you feast on what actually fulfills you. So if you, again, like I said, Cancer got that claw. If you've been maintaining people at your table that don't need to be at that table, you've been maintaining relationships just so they can be there. Like I led this reading with, some people just want to be attached to you. They want to keep you one call away so they can say they know you, so that they can siphon your energy when they want to siphon your energy. But if that appetizer is no longer satisfying and is leaving you hungry, this is when you want to go into intentional fasting. Intentionally fast. Maybe just fast for the next few days leading up to the new moon so things can be clear to you. Patreon and I did a fast, I think that was April. All I can say is 2 days into the fast, things were evident. things were moving. So take yourself down, a notch, so that you're not just feasting on anything, the first thing that's in your eye. And if you are just, a knickknacker, a sugar eater, I'm just going to pacify myself with this food or with this energy or with this person, this is your wake-up call. Have patience with yourself and with others. At this time, it's a journey. We are on a journey. And have patience with who you're becoming. Have patience with who you used to be. Give shouts out to the old you. They survived. They're the reason why you're here today. They're the reason why you're able to look how you look and move how you move. Even if you're slightly ashamed of old you, give gratitude and have patience for the unbecoming and becoming of each version of you. Feel fear and do it anyway. There's a new you that's waiting to be unlocked. New moon energy. What I say, coming back from war. She been at war. Protecting herself. Protecting her and her child. Fighting against the things that were sent to destroy her. But the person who's ready to come after all of that can't become if you still live in fear of what has already been or what might be. The void. When the moon is not moving, you shouldn't be either. When the moon is not working, you shouldn't be either. I'm not sure if we have any void moon placements this week. I didn't look before I started recording. But I will say that with the new moon is the dark moon. So it's when you can't see it. And that's when the seeds are the most potent because they are being germinated. Seeds do their most germination and maturation when they are in the dirt and no one can see them. The last thing we see are the leaves and the fruit. So Cancer, in true Cancer season, if you don't feel like you can, then don't. If you don't want to, then don't. Y'all, these numbers 11, 11, and 1. 11 and 1, so 1, 1, 1. Keep your eye out for that too. Because those are the beginnings of new things, new opportunities. Messages for the collective, for the Cancer moon. I don't know who needs to hear this, but sometimes you have to stop everything to know what you should pick up again. And if you should pick anything up again. Never be afraid of endings that turn into new beginnings. Box, reveal your secret power. Again, you've been hiding long enough. You've been hiding long enough. The longer you hide, you only have more resentment. The longer you stay within the box that society, your family, your mama and them try to keep you in, then you'll have more resentment. And I also know who needs to hear this, but a lot of the most famous and successful people that we know did not hit oil until they were 40. Don't trip. Don't sleep on yourself. Key. Seek no further. Your aha moment is at hand. And you see, if you look, it's her deep in there. She's going to be the one that unlocks whatever's going on. She's going to be the one that unlocks the portal. This new moon, smack dab in the middle of these two Capricorn full moons, literally providing awareness, awakenings, abundance. Purse or wallet, pursue your true wealth. Stop playing small. Told you there's no contraindications of this new moon, meaning there's nothing stopping you. There's nothing in your way. Saturn retrograde, if anything, is bringing more blessings. Pluto too, because if you let the shit die, if you let the shit fall off, then there's nothing that can hold you back from the replenishment that's trying to come. Food and eating, be mindful of the thoughts that you are ingesting. That looks like she's giving him a plate of Saturn. That looks like Saturn. But anyway, be mindful of the thoughts that you are ingesting. Your thoughts will become things. Cancers are extremely powerful, extremely intuitive. All water signs had to be very mindful of what they think because of their ability to make it a reality. So Cancers, Scorpio, and Pisces can't even play with bad thoughts. Can't even play with negative thoughts. Because they eventually will create them. And then who has to swim through it and don't want to swim through it? It's the water signs. Got to be real careful. All right, what are the final energies? Happy surprise. Something very good is about to happen. We know this. And we know this, man. keep open to the possibilities of life, not to the fears. Teamwork, work with others to make the situation come about. And I haven't pulled these unicorn cards in so long, but it's a magical time, so I had to do it. Cancers are very much so no new friends, and that's fine. But know that some of the portions of your life you will require a responsible teammate, and I say responsible. On Patreon, when I did the Saturn retrograde recording, I was talking about how because Saturn is the ancient ruler of Aquarius, and Aquarius rules groups, that some people may want to be loyal to their team or have certain people in their team because of how long they've known them. But meanwhile, if that person is a fly in the ointment, if that person is poisoning the water, they are more harm than they are good. So who cares that you live in a commune? Who cares that y'all don't have to live by societal rules? You got an op living within the commune, and all y'all gonna be dead in 5 years. You know? So, responsible teammates. Relax. Everything is okay. Don't worry. It's all going to be fine. Fine. Literally. Let it roll off your back. Cancers also are prone for anxiety because we're always worrying and always thinking and always, oh, what if? And did I do that? Everything is always working out for me. Like Abraham Hicks says, everything is always working out for me. Definitely yes. The answer to your question is a strong yes. Yes, you will get the job. Yes, you will get into school. Yes, they're going to ask you to marry them. Yes, you're going to move into the new home. Yes, their relationship is good for you. Yes, their relationship is not good for you. Yes, you're about to be pregnant. Yes, yes, yes. So this concludes the session. Again, if you are looking to connect one-on-one with me or receive more in-depth analysis and connections, make sure you subscribe to the Trap House on Patreon. Link in bio for that. And then if you are interested in scheduling a one-on-one session with me, send me an email. Talk to you guys later. Holla back.